welcome to the God is a Geek podcast. My name is Adam Cook, and as always, I am joined by Christopher White.
Right.
Yeah. You alright, mate?
Yeah, man. You?
Yeah, that was a far less enthusiastic intro.
I just thought I'd change it up. I told you I'm going to change it up. Keep the listeners guessing.
You did.
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
You're right there. Everything good with you?
I am good, mate. Yeah, I am.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm hoping also good, as always, Adam Carroll.
Always good. Always perfect.
Good.
Splendid.
Perfect and splendid. Goodness me.
There you go.
Wow. And back this week, we haven't heard from him in a couple of weeks. It's Gary Bailey. Gaz, you alright?
Oh. Yeah, mate.
You sure?
Yeah, just fighting off the last of a virus, but other than that, I'm good.
Yeah, you've had the lurgy, but
Yeah.
you're all well. I say all good. You're still fighting it off. That's
But otherwise,
Well-
I'm good.
It's. I said this last week. I think it's incredibly busy at the moment. It feels like January has become the new everyone release games, unless it's just me. Because when we'll get to what I've been playing, but it feels like if you like a certain type of game, they're all coming out right now.
Mm-hmm.
Is it just me?
No, you're right. It's packed already. We've barely started.
It's still January, and there's just games.
I'm still catching up.
So, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean that too. But I suppose given how long we were last week, we better get into it. Chris, what have you been up to, mate?
So I've got an addiction to something. I need to just get off my chest.
Okay.
Mobile gaming. Now,
Oh God.
there's a game on on the old blower called Disney's Emoji Blitz, and
That doesn't play. That does not. The old blower does not play in 2018. It just doesn't. I know what that means, but I don't. I mean, I hope Gary and Adam know what that means.
Yeah. I do.
Oh, God.
I only heard it last year for the first time, and I really enjoy it.
To the youngsters listening, I mean phone in general, but I've
Telephone.
been playing on the mobile phone, Emoji Blitz, right? And it's amazing. Like, I don't know why I'm like playing on it every 20, 30 minutes, because you get like a certain amount of lives, and then they run out. And then you don't get them back. They start loading back up over time, and then you get a message saying all your lives are refilled. So I'm back in, and you're like, essentially, you make like lines of 3 characters, and they're like, you've probably seen like the faces on like stuff. They're just like cartoony versions of all the Disney characters, and you can collect Disney characters by the more you play, and you can get points and shit like that. And then you can buy emojis, and they've all got certain abilities that make you get more money or more points depending on what the challenges are.
Okay.
And there's an event on at the minute to get a Big Hero 6 character, and you've got like complete 25 challenges in 4 days, and like I'm on 21. So I've nearly got Baymax, so I'm just kind of pushing through. But other than that, which
I never thought we'd lead a podcast with a game called Emoji Blitz.
do you know what? I feel like we never touch upon mobile games, but it's because my wife's been playing it for about a year, and I'm like, she's like obsessed with it. So I thought I'll give it a go, and then that was it. But anyway, despite that, I've been playing an actual computer game on a console, which I have fallen in love with straight away, and that's Crossing Souls.
Okay.
And I heard about it quite a while. I think it was a couple of E3s ago. I was listening to the Podcast Beyond IGN podcast with Max Scoville on, and he was talking about it, and he was saying how it kind of feels like an 80s homage to everything, all things 80s. Basically, it's a top-down game. It's a bit like Zelda, old school Zelda.
Sold. I'm sold. I'm buying it right now.
Yeah, that's him done. Yeah.
Oh, mate, wait. It gets better. So you are a group of friends, very much like...
Did you wanna mention the name of the main character at all, or
Yeah.
nothing to do with that at all?
Well,
that you like it, is it?
Yeah. Well, the main character's name's Chris, which is ace, and
rare, which is rare apart from Redfield.
It is rare, yeah. And he's got 4 friends, and they're all like... It's kind of like... It feels very much like Stand By Me or The Goonies or something like that.
Oh, and The Goonies is a great pull.
Yeah. I mean, they find this... It's a gem. It's like a pyramid gem, and they find it on a dead body, very much like Stand By Me. It's by the river, and it gives them the ability to see dead people. So if you click the R2 button, you see ghosts, and you find a way to interact with the ghosts. and you could be walking down the street and you click your R2 button to activate it, and you'll see like 2 old Victorian characters just stood in someone's garden. Or there's all kinds, and you can even talk to some of them, and it's weird, but it's really kind of smart. And as I said, there is a homage to everything. There's the turtles are in there. I've seen.
Are they?
There's like there's a reference to turtles. There's
there's
a poster.
Now.
There's
I thought the actual turtles didn't rock up in it.
Well, you never know. Yeah.
It's Devolver Digital. It might,
Yeah. There's like there's a poster saying "Wanted." Have you seen this man? And it's a picture of Heisenberg. I
did see that one. I did see that
Cemetery. One. Obviously, there's a strong Stephen King influence with the Stand By Me, but there's like Pet Sematary
Sold
references.
again.
There's like writing on like walls and like on the arcades, and one of the bit of writings is "The cake is a lie" from Portal. It's literally filled with these references, which make it great anyway. But the gameplay is really, really good as well. Like each of the characters, you can just switch between them at the drop of a hat by pressing L1.
That's the thing I find really interesting, by the way. Because you're about to say it, I've jumped the gun a bit, but like each character has their own ability, don't they?
Yes.
Like Chris can climb. Yeah. I'm forgetting the name of the other guys, but what's the stereotype, the nerdy glasses guy who can do tech?
I think it's Matt. Matt can uses like he can hover
boots to jump distance.
So he can jump, but sustain the jump, so he can get from one platform to another. There's there's like Big J or something, but they call him Biggie.
Big Joe?
Yeah, Big Joe, and they call him Biggie, which is
ace. He can move stuff, can't he? He can, because he's basically a fat guy, and he can move stuff.
Punch really hard, so you can always use him to fight everyone. I think it's Charlie. She's got like a massive lasso, and she can stand between 2 posts and then launch herself across like really far distances.
Like, you know how Link Between, which was the 2D most recent Zelda, Link Between Worlds, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know how you could rent the equipment and like each of them would be specific to an area.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like, I've got the boomerang, I can do everything with it in this area. It's like this area, there's a certain thing that you throw the boomerang at. It's kind of like they took all those mechanic ideas, not specifically those, and spread them across whatever. I mean, I don't know, you've played a lot more than I have, but what I played of it feels like there's set points you can use each of the abilities, and you like switch characters to do them. And,
it's very natural. It doesn't feel like forced. And then there's no map, and the areas are quite big, but there are maps situated on the around the place and stuff. But the coolest thing I've seen so far is the cutscenes. They're essentially they have been animated to made to look like 80s cartoons, and they even play like as if they're playing on a VHS. So you've got like the splices between films and the kind of grainy look, and it's really smart, and like I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm chapter 3, so I don't know how far's left, but I just love it. I think it's a really good game.
It's quite amazing that the whole 80s thing is still, like, people are still not fed up of it.
Yeah.
Fed up of, if people do it well,
Yeah, I guess, but it just, I don't know, like, it's everybody loves the 80s.
Yeah, but you forget, like, Chris and I were born in the 80s, so, like...
So was I.
Okay, guys, were you Ad?
Yeah, 88.
Oh, just about. So yeah,
leave me have it. Leave me have the 80s, for God's sake. Jesus,
you can't have our 80s.
God damn it. Yeah,
no, I just think it's a really refreshing game, and it's just
really cool.
It really is.
I don't know who the developer is, but like I've played half an hour maybe. Like I just got to the point where you get that stone and understand what it does.
Yes.
And I was sort of, it was late, I had to put it down and go to bed, but I was kind of excited to see because already, even without that, like the combat mechanics I like I think there's a lot of smart stuff there, like, one of the Matt's skills is that, because Chris has got a baseball bat, and he can obviously hit things with it, and Matt's got like a ray gun of some description, and like, another one of his skills is that he can auto target people, because it's top down, otherwise you have to point, that's fine, but it's nice, it's got that. And I sort of already that was enough. It's like, this looks good. It seems like the music, I remember correctly, being quite good. And I liked how it feels. It feels responsive. You know what I mean? Like, if it was good to play, and then getting that, it's like, so where are they? Because it feels like that has been done to a degree. then they take it on a bit further, and it does. It feels like there was a game Atlas put out that was like a homage to Mother 3. It was about being vice president. I can't think what it was called. We did cover it on God as a Geek, but I'm totally spacing the name. But this to me feels like a combination of that kind of game, like Mother 3 and this game I can't remember the name of, and Zelda. And that to me is something that would appeal to a lot of people, I think.
Yeah. I mean, it's always, whenever I see Devolver's name as publisher, I always kind of get excited anyway, because they very rarely put anything bad out, and it's just I think it's going to surprise a lot of people. I don't know how much notice it's going to get. I don't know whether people are going to see it and buy it, because it's just it's going to come out between a lot of big games, but I really hope it kind of does.
Is it next month? It's early February, isn't it? I think
13th. I think it comes out.
And you and I are playing on PS4, but it's coming to PC as well.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to get this.
Yeah, it's a real treat.
I mean, Chris and I we'll have a chat about it perhaps a bit more, and we'll put some video up of it, and there'll be stuff on the site so we can show you what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But it's in a way, it's kind of very typical Devolver Digital, isn't it? In that it's kind of not getting the attention it should.
Yeah.
It's a cool little indie game, and just a lot to enjoy about it. And also, it seems to me like, again, a typically Devolver thing is that it's gameplay first. You know what I mean? Like you enjoy 100%. Playing it.
And it before we kind of move on, one of the coolest bits of that, the kind of gameplay, is that it takes a lot from 80s games and puts that in. So there's a segment where you're on a bike and you ride along a track from left to right, and an arrow will appear at the end which will point up, so then you move the bike up to avoid an obstacle, or you press in the middle to avoid more obstacles. So that's one side of it. And then there's essentially a kind of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade game where you've got like an area and you beat up all the enemies, and then an arrow appears to move on, then you move to the next bit. Kind of like Streets of Rage, that kind of thing. So there's so much of that, but then I'm assuming there's going to be so much more as well. And it's like really well thought out, and there's a lot kind of been put into it to make it not just feel like an 80s game, but just feel like a great game. And yeah, I'm really enjoying it, and it's got quite a good story as well, which I'm looking forward to see how that goes. But yeah, all in all, Crossing Souls is really good so far, and I'm looking forward to see more of it.
But I hadn't heard of it at all. Like, I don't miss, not being big-headed, I don't miss much in terms of games, but I had not heard of this at all.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's Devolver. It's Devolver Digital's EITR, isn't it? EITR, that game that's been coming forever. That's Devolver?
Yes.
That's the one that I keep thinking, are we going to hear anything on? And then so when a new Devolver Digital game pops in my inbox, like,
yes,
and it's not that, I'm like, well, this looks, and again, not to shit on it because I'm really, really enjoying it, but a lot of games look like that.
Yes,
now,
they do.
And it is very difficult for an indie game that looks a certain way to stand out in a crowd of lots of indie games. And I don't mean that to sound disparaging. There's no other way I can think of putting it. A lot of games look like this. Like, I won't talk about it much, but and Gary will be talking about it more, I think, next week or when we talk to Gaz next. But Iconoclast, so I've played like 30 minutes of, and again, that is a certain look, retro-looking game in a sort of 2D platformer with other things added to it, and it's the elements they add to it that make it unique, but getting that across to people before they've played it is bloody hard. Like, if you put a trailer out for Iconoclasts and a trailer out for Crossing Souls, they're hard games to sell. Not that that's our job, I just mean it's, like Crossing Souls, I would agree with you as well, Chris, like the cutscenes are phenomenal. They look exactly like those cartoons.
Yeah, it's scary. Like, it's like Cities of Gold, that kind of thing. It's just, it's ace, yeah.
What else have you been up to then, mate?
Well, it's not anything I can really talk about, to be honest.
No, we should mention that Chris has been playing Monster Hunter World a lot, and we'll talk about that soon, but not this episode, because that's just the way embargoes work.
Yeah,
soon.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to talk about that. But that's pretty much it, Adam. I mean, what have you been playing?
Me? Oh my god, do you really want to know?
I do, yeah, because there's a few games on this list I want to chat about.
Everything. The answer is everything. What have I been playing? Everything. It is what I said at the top of the podcast is kind of true. It was almost like someone said, what games would Adam be really excited to play? And then they just put them all out. Like, I'll briefly touch upon Street Fighter V Arcade Edition because I haven't put enough time into that, because like I'm also playing Dragon Ball FighterZ, and that was kind of more urgent because it's brand new. But Arcade Edition seems like the game it should have launched as so far.
Yeah.
Wow.
To the point where I bounced off of Street Fighter V because it just felt incomplete. And I said this the other week, it just didn't feel like it was finished.
Yeah.
Finally does. And it's made me want to get a new fight stick, because the legacy support for Street Fighter, for PS4 games and this one, is that you have to basically have another normal controller connected at all times. So as long as you've got your profile signed into the PS4 controller, you plug your fight stick in, you can say legacy support and it will use that. But if your battery goes off on your PS4 controller, it kicks you off the other controller because it's kind of connected that way. So it's kind of, if you want to get a new fight stick, because I really, really like it. It feels like they finished that game, and that's a good thing. I won't, like I say, I won't say too much because I need to play more of it. But I really, really, I mean, Street Fighter V was always a brilliant game. It just didn't feel done, and now it feels like, okay, we can start over. You and I, Street Fighter. We've had our arguments.
Why is it now right?
Because it's just got everything in it. It's not missing things that feel like they should be there. I don't think you release a new fighting game now without a story mode, and Street Fighter V came out without a story mode. Even now you have to download it as DLC, but once you start that package up, it didn't feel finished, and it does now. It's got an arcade mode in it. It just feels like it's done. They've actually made a 1.0, and in fact it's probably like 4.0, I think. But it just feels done. Speaking of fighting games, Dragon Ball FighterZ is incredible. My wife and I used to watch Dragon Ball FighterZ. Well, we used to watch Dragon Ball Z, and I don't really know why. I don't know how we got into it. I don't know how, but we watched every episode of that bloody show and loved it, and watched some of the other versions of the show. But it's been about 10 years since I thought about Dragon Balls. Like Dragon Ball at all. Like, there's fighting games and Dragon Ball games that come through my inbox many a time, and I pass them up and someone else reviews them, and I don't know why, because I love Dragon Ball Fighter. I keep wanting to say Dragon Ball FighterZ now. I'm staring at it on the screen. Dragon Ball Z. But playing this, it's just brilliant. It's interesting because Arc System Works make these fighting games that are often seen as incredibly hardcore, like impenetrably so, and they can be that way, but with Dragon Ball, they've kind of... So in Marvel vs. Capcom last year, they had like auto combos. I don't know if any of you read about this. It's basically where you can just tap the same button and it does like a cool combo and you feel like a badass, yeah?
Yeah.
Right.
In Fighters, they've done that with all three attacks. So light, medium and heavy. Every one of them, if you just hammer one of them, it will do a different combo. And because of the nature of Dragon Ball Z, because of the kind of ludicrous anime screaming, shirts off, fireballs, I'm Super Saiyan nature of Dragon Ball, those combos look amazing. Like, you tap square 5 times and you have done 2 big attacks, thrown in the air, thrown a fireball, vanished and disappeared behind them, and the kind of thing you'd expect to see in a Street Fighter top tier match where people are putting button combos in you could never do yourself. They've done that with all 3 buttons, and that means that you can instantly pick that game up, and all you would have to do is hammer one of the buttons and you would look a badass and feel a badass and feel good doing it. The next layer is that then there is the hardcore there, that you can get into the proper combos, like the different combinations. The problem I think it might have is that I don't know how good the matchmaking is, because the reason that my review doesn't have a score on it when you listen to this is because they haven't got the servers up yet. Now, the beta is one thing, but this is the final product I'm playing, and I need to know if the servers work. And the reason I need to know is because if people... So, like Adam, you don't play fighting games, okay?
No.
But you could play this and feel a badass. But if you then go online with the hammering square, triangle, and circle, and you come up against someone who is a really good BlazBlue sort of, Guilty Gear player, the Arc System Work games, they will probably double perfect you, and you will go away from that going, I'm never playing this again. This is stupid. They're too good.
Yeah.
They need to be really sure that doesn't happen, because to keep a game that isn't Street Fighter, that isn't Tekken, that isn't Smash Brothers, in the fighting game pantheon, keeping it going, it needs to be enjoyable for everyone who's bought it. And if you go up against, say, tournament players, it's not going to be enjoyable for you. You're not going to get a hit in. That's not fun. The other issue is that, although I think this game's got excellent tutorials, like it really does teach you how to play the game really well, the problem is someone like me, who is just like a scrub, mid tier. Like I'm not brilliant at any fighting game anymore, but I'm also not the button masher on one side, and I'm not the elite player on the right side. The people who sit in the middle, again, they need to be played against people who, like, I went on Street Fighter Arcade Edition and I thought, let's have a go online, see if I've still got the old shit. Won my first match quite comfortably. And you feel good about that. If you lose and then you lose and then you lose and you lose, you feel bad and you feel like, I'm not going to play this anymore. The people like me who aren't amazing at Arc System but enjoy them and respect them and have found one now in Dragon Ball that I really, really like, I need the tools in that game to take me up a notch. I'm not saying up to that top tier, but to, it's the equivalent of a footballer playing in the bottom league and going up a league and being able to take his performance up that level.
Yeah.
And I think those tools are difficult to do in a game, but I think someone needs to do that at some point. That it needs to be in the game to teach you how to step it up. So the example I would use is like with Goku, series main protagonist, I guess. If you press circle and then down and circle, you do a heavy hit and then you air launch them, right? Then, because you've done that combo, you launch up with them. You follow them up into the air. Now, the timing difference between circle down circle is like you can just do it instantly and it will do that all for you. Then when you're in the air, there's a combo it teaches you, which I think is square triangle. But the timing for square triangle is, again, the same, like just bang bang, but there's a difference. This is really difficult to describe in audio form, but it's the difference of going 1 2 3 4 to do those 4 button presses. That it's actually 1 2 3 4. Then it's 5 6 for the other 2 moves. The timing of the move executions, and I think you're probably maybe even sat there like Ad, not knowing what the fuck I'm talking about right now.
I kind of get what you mean. You mean. Like, I
understand because it's got the cool thing is it's got a replay. So if you can press a button, it will show you the combo you're trying to do. But I feel like when I look at that, I see, bang bang bang. Okay, right, I've just got to practice that, get that timing down. Whereas I feel like someone who's gone into this game and is just using the like bang 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 bang, the auto combos, is going to see that and go, that looks cool. I want to do it. I see what the buttons it wants me to do, but I don't understand when I'm supposed to do the inputs. Because it shows you on screen, but there's so much going on in a game like this in terms of visual sort of bluster.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's the same though. I remember having a go off of, I think, is it Blaze Blue?
Yeah, they made the game as well, yeah. And that's one of the harder ones.
And like, playing that and you're like, Jesus Christ, I was like, what am I doing? And it is just frantic on screen. And if you see someone play it, you just want to play it. But then once you take control, like fighting games are just the hardest thing to master, in my opinion. The only one I ever got good at was like Soul Calibur 2. Everything else was just a complete waste.
The thing is, with Street Fighter 5, for example, okay, there's no auto combos. If you want to do a combo, you have to go into the training, look at the combo list, learn it, get the timing right, and work it out. And you can just be there for an hour trying to nail a combo, if you just don't understand what it is you're doing wrong.
Yeah.
The difference is in Dragon Ball, because you have the auto combos. This is it's almost like a modern equivalent of like a turbo button. If you get the first hit in and just keep hitting square, you'll do an amazing combo, 5 to 7 hit, and you'll look cool doing it. If that's in the game, that's going to encourage people like yourself to play more of it.
Yeah.
Then you need almost someone to explain. I don't want to say frame data, but you almost need someone to explain why it works the way it, and I don't know, and I think this game has got legs, but I think some people will say it's too shallow because of the auto combos, and I think some people will say it's too deep, and that's a shame. If that, it's conjecture. A lot of this is conjecture, but I'm hoping that isn't the case, and it's my gut feeling. I'm hoping I'm wrong. It's going to be played. It's a tremendous looking game, and there's some. It's a very aggressive game.
Yeah.
I
personally think like fighting games are kind of really just aimed at fighting fans, because how many developers are out there going, we need to release a fighting game that's going to drag in the people who don't play these games? Like,
yeah, but
I don't know if that exists, if that even thought comes into place when they're designing these games. Like,
this has got a chance.
Is there like a main story mode as well?
Yeah, so the story mode's really cool. Like you start off and it's got cutscenes and stuff with Japanese or English voice acting, your choice. Yeah. And then it puts you like on there's like a world map, I suppose, and you have moves, so like 20 moves, and you can move from points around the map. And there's one. It's got icons to show you what's what.
Yeah.
And there'll be one that's like a boss battle, boss in inverted commas. It'll be like Cell or someone, and you're like that. Basically, that battle. It's called a boss battle because it moves the story on. But the other 20 moves you've got, you can go and do other battles, and you level up each of your fighters. But you also can, if you're like up against a level 1 against a level 6, all the levels really seem to do is like health. So they've got a bigger health pool. But when you beat them, you might get you can equip 3 of these skills, and what it might be like, damage up or key up, because you can charge in this game. You literally charge your key up to do the mad Dragon Ball stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's quite cool actually, and of course, being a tag battle, the thing I really liked this about the story, is So I think the first time I noticed is I'd put, because your first two fighters, and your third one's kind of like the reserve. You can't. I don't think you can tag him in. I can't remember actually. So you can tag in and out your first two. But if you put Goku and Krillin, and then you come up against certain combinations of fighters, they get like this special cutscenes for those moments that you wouldn't see if you didn't get the right tag team, as it were.
Yeah.
And it's just a really well made, great attention to detail game. I mean, there will be people listening who are massive fighting game fans going, he doesn't know what he's fucking talking about. I'm not professing to be an expert on fighting games. This is just the way I feel about it. I have played fighting games since I was a child. I've always loved them. I used to be quite good at them. With age, the muscle memory goes. Like I'll look up a move now, and then I'll have to look it up 3 more times because I'm like, what was it? It's really, really good. I don't know what other people are scoring, obviously, but I would be expecting, assuming the online works, to be scoring it quite high. It's just a tremendous fighting game.
Would you see yourself giving more time to this or Street Fighter? I know now it's totally different, like in some sense, but like
no, but it is a difficult question because Street Fighter's my game. It's always been my game. I really like this. I really like this because I think it just has. I mean, Street Fighter and Dragon Ball are just two of the most beautiful looking fighting games, and they run like butter. It is just. I really like them. I would like to. Do you know the thing I think that hurts fighting games the most for me is that I miss the days of getting together with mates and playing them. It just doesn't happen anymore. Like you play online now,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not the same as sitting in a room and just having fun. It's not the same.
Yeah.
But would I play it instead of? I think I would play it as well as. I like it a lot, man. I like it a lot.
Good time to be a fighting fan.
Big time. Yeah, I mean, good time to be a fan of fighting games. Good time to be a fan of flaccid penises, because Genital Jousting... Genital Jousting is out now, but I'm joking.
There's no way to segue to that, is there really?
No, that's why I've...
go for it.
No, I'm not going for nothing, mate. I tell you, I'm going to come back to Genital Jousting, actually, because I want to quickly mention I have also been playing Shadow of the Colossus on PS4, the remaster, remake. I don't know what you want to call it. It's a remake, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I loved it on PS2, and I actually think I reviewed the PS3 version as well. And you could probably guess in a preview sense what I think of this version of the game. I'm unable to tell you in terms of a verdict what I think of it. Again, we will try and get some video up of this because we're allowed to, which Sony are very confident. That should tell you something else as well. At the time of recording, I've killed a few of them, and the thing I would note, there's 2 things of note, I think, about this version of the game, this new version. No, 3. I forgot how incredible the music was.
Oh, yeah.
What a soundtrack, okay? That's just a brief, whatever. In the modern day where games look more realistic, although these creatures are still fantastical, they're not real. God, it feels, even if it were even possible, it feels so much worse killing them now.
Oh no!
Now partly because I know the story.
I don't know this now. You see, so just see. I'm
it's
sorry.
Horrible.
Yeah, but one of my friends said, like, you will feel bad, and I'm like, why?
You will,
and I don't know why. But
you see, some of the beasts. I mean, this isn't talking about this version. This is just talking about the game. Some of the beasts don't attack you. They're passive, and you're climbing on their head and just stabbing them in the brain with a knife, with your sword, which is why it feels horrible because it's the equivalent of killing a tiger. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's not a good thing. You feel like you are butchering peaceful you're in their face. You know, like even the ones who are aggressive, you went to them. You know, they didn't search you out. You searched them out for a ruck, and then you just put your sword in their brain until they drop and die. And it's not a good feeling, which is incredible, really. That a game can make you feel that way. Excuse me.
So I've two questions, right?
Sure.
Like, this will be my first time experiencing this game. Like, never been near it. So, like, would you consider this to be the version? Like, this is...
Yeah, well...
Because visually, I do remember seeing...
that out because I can't really answer that properly.
Okay. But, like, I do remember seeing on the PS2, like, I definitely had, like, a brief go at it way back in the day. And I just found it really, like, blurry and stuff. Like,
no, this is a remake. Don't think of it as like they've up-resed it. This is a remake. Okay. They have built this game again. Like, it doesn't look as good as, say, Horizon. But
of course.
It looks... So actually that ties nicely into the third thing I was going to say. This feels like a modern video game. You know, in the way that a lot of games they're re-released and you're like, oh yeah, this is great. I love this game. Yeah, it's one of my favourite of all time. But it does feel very much like a remake. This actually feels like a modern video game. Even the only thing that I guess is a bit of a hangover, and I don't even think this has anything to do with the original game, is the camera still can get a bit awkward.
That's what I was going to ask next.
But it's only because you are a small boy, a small sort of young man, I guess, climbing a Colossus. And like it's full of fur and stuff, but even it's not Last Guardian. Do you know what I mean? It's not that. It feels like a modern game.
How easy is it to climb the Colossi? Because I always really struggle with that. I always thought that was one of the toughest things to do on the old games.
For better or worse, they have nailed the feel of that original game in terms of climbing. Like, they don't want you on them. You know,
yeah.
Like you've got a stamina bar in the sim. It's very Zelda in that respect. Like, I think Adam's going to really love this because it's that stamina thing is like you've got a circle and it's empty, and then you're like, I just need to get to somewhere I can stand up. You know when you climb in a rock face in Zelda, and you know if you can just get to that correct angle, you can let go and replenish it. Exactly that. Like, you're on the back of a Colossus and it's bending and throwing you off. And it's like, if you just stand up straight, I can stand up, regain my stamina, great. It's very much that. Still difficult. I completely couldn't remember how to kill the third one. I knew how to get on it, but I could not remember what I was doing wrong. I wonder how many... Because, I just jumped into it. I was like, first one done, second one done. I think in about 10 minutes I was on the third one. And... I wonder how many people who are playing it for the first time will be like, well, I don't know what I'm doing. It's just this bloody... What am I supposed to do? You know? Yeah. But, we'll talk more about that as it's nearer release. We'll put some video up, with usual stuff for that. It's I forgot how good that soundtrack was. And I think, again, in a preview sense, I think they've done a cracking job of remodeling that game, remaking that game. Like, it's...
Cool.
It's got its own beauty. Like, it doesn't look as good as Horizon. It doesn't look as good as, I don't know, like a bloody... Quantum Break or something on Xbox. It doesn't look as high definition as that, but it does have something about it that I was snapping screenshots a lot, just on the first 2 or 3 Colossi. So it's definitely got something about it. But penises, I wanted to mention Genital Jousting because I saw this game ages ago, and like it's a multiplayer party game, and they added a story mode to it, and they put it out kind of as a release build. And I played it and did a video on it, which you can see on youtube.com/GodIsAGeek. But I played it because I kind of thought I'm the perfect person to play a game about penises. This will be a great video. I will find so much comedy in this,
I have a penis, I can relate. Here we go.
Absolutely, and like John, the penis in this game, I fart out of my balls, But I honestly thought, I will do this. This is the one. This is the money maker. This is the video that propels God is a Geek to IGN levels of.
Don't you mean it's the money shot?
Yeah, sorry, Gaz. Yeah, fair play. But I come away and I hit stop on all my devices, and I sat there and I was like, this is a shit video, man. This is shit. I've said nothing. I've found nothing funny about this. Like, I don't think it's funny.
It's weird. I mean, I watched that video and I was just kind of sat there, just not you couldn't put into words anything. You just
no, it's not funny.
It's weird. It's like they tried to do something like the Stanley Parable. But
well, that's
penises.
the only bit about the video I liked. I put a whole 21-minute video out just because I liked one bit of funny thing I said, and that was it.
Yeah, but
it's like the Stanley Parable. No, it's not like the Stanley. It is. That's what they've gone for.
It's the same sort of idea, but without any of the humour or like intelligence. It's just penises and.
But it's
working,
to it in your face.
Like a 9 to 5 with dildos.
Well, I mean, I haven't played it since. I should keep going because it's only about 2 hours apparently. But it's comedy. Can be in your face, someone like, I'm not a huge fan of his, but someone like a Frankie Boyle, his act is not that's his act, in your face non-stop. But within that, whether you like him or not, there are subtleties. There's clever elements to his aggression. This, not to have a go at them, but it didn't feel clever in any way. It was just like every part of this, because there's a moment in the video where I wondered, oh shit, are they actually trying to say something? And then you think, but you can't say something in a game where you're ramming dildos up your arse, but when your arse is actually your balls.
Jesus Christ.
Like,
what the fuck are you doing? Like, what is the game? Like, because I don't know what is it?
You're ramming dildos up an arse.
Yeah.
You're a quality assurance tester for dildos, as far as I could tell, and your name's John, and you're basically trying to find a peen, and you're all peen, like we're humans, they're peens, and you're trying, and even that, it's like that. I feel like people calling it the peen has gone in the past. That's not something anyone says anymore.
No.
Maybe there's a message. Maybe it makes you cry, but. I think it's the most, well, not the most honest, but a very honest video, because you can hear me not stuttering or stammering, but like going, I've got nothing. If it's making you laugh, great, and you're laughing your ass off through the video and it's entertaining for that reason, but it's just weird. And I like the fact that we are getting funny games or people attempting humour. Like, I think comedy in games is massively underdone and only tends to be done well when it is literally an existing property. But, well, I mean, that's a perfect segue. Ad, what have you been playing?
Yeah, because while you're actually on the whole humour thing, I've been playing South Park: The Fractured Butthole.
Okay.
Okay. I love the Stick of Truth. I think it was like.
Yep.
I think it was superb. I thought it was it was the best South Park game at the time. Yep. There was a lot riding on this sequel, and I think it's still like, I've only gone through about maybe 4 hours. I think that way, so I'm still early days, and
yeah, it's a longer game than the first one, by the way.
Yeah, if I'm honest, I think. The humour side of it, is it just me that doesn't find farts that funny anymore?
Yeah, it's just you, mate, sorry.
Like, I know now, I don't know, but in this, it's just absolutely rinsed. It is funny for the first few goes, but like, I don't know.
Right, I'm with you.
They really stretch out that whole thing, if I'm honest.
They stretch out the whole. Okay.
Like,
I think the problem is, and I think I've said this before, like, South Park: The Fractured Butthole is a better game than the Stick of Truth. However, I think the writing's much worse. And yeah, I know they say that Matt and Trey were involved, but I just wonder how involved this time around.
Yeah, like, the writing is definitely weaker, but I don't know, is it just that the Stick of Truth was so good? Like, was it just that, like, oh, brilliant, we got an amazing South Park game, it's just fantastic, and we weren't really kind of putting a lot of cons on it? Like, there's a lot more to kind of criticise in this one. Like, the gameplay, for some, they might think it's amazing. I think it's the part, like, whenever I get into a fight, I don't want to fight. I don't want to do it.
In the new one? Because I think that's the way better fighting game, better combat.
See, it definitely is. But I think the highlight of this game is just being able to walk around and go into a house and seeing what happens, who's going to be in this house. And looting stuff and seeing what you loot, and that is really funny. The whole Coonstagram thing is really funny. Like Cartman is always a joy. Like everything he says is just so funny. It's a really good game, and I think, like, going back to what you're saying about comedy, it's just a difficult thing to get across. I think, like, I don't know, like, I sound like an absolute drip, but like, I struggle with even comedians. Like, I'm not really into it. You know, there's only one or two that I enjoy, but comedy in a video game, I haven't really experienced much of it. Like,
well, it's hard to be funny for 20 hours. That's the thing I think even the Stick of Truth suffered from, is that it was funny and it had some amazingly funny moments, but to try and sustain 20 hours of jokes is very, I would say, borderline impossible. I think if a game's going to be funny, it has to kind of get in and out, or be funny now and again, but not just be about the humour. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, even at such an early stage, I have to say that I think they absolutely nailed the whole superhero thing.
Yeah, I love that.
I think it's absolutely amazing. It's you really kind of think all the kids are like out there saving the world and stuff. You know, it's so funny. Like the whole lava thing outside, like the houses and stuff.
The Lego.
These little touches, and I have to say, the soundtrack is superb. The music is.
It's a very well made game. Like a very well made game.
Definitely. It is enjoyable. I'm wondering how far they're going to go with it, though. That's my thing, because there was a couple of moments in the Stick of Truth where I was like, "Oh my god, they
go further than that." I mean, Chris, you reviewed it for us, didn't you? I mean, I think. Do you mean? Well, Adam, do you mean in terms of crossing the line?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, again, I referred to Chris's review here, but I thrashed that game. I nearly platinumed it. I think they actually maybe go further than in the Stick of Truth.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm thinking of the police station.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. The police station. Definitely.
Cool. Like, there is a couple of things that characters say, and I'm just like, Jesus, did they just say that? That's really risky. But I am enjoying it. Like, it's fun to have this game. It's so amazing to look at it and just be like, this is just like a TV show. Do you know? Have
you been to the strip club yet?
No, not yet.
Oh, fucking hell, yeah.
But I imagine it's going to be great.
Yeah. Oh, fucking hell, I forgot about that,
yeah.
There's a lot, like, it's weirdly addictive as well, even outside of the combat. Like, you just kind of have this whole thing, I'll just go in here and see what I can pick up. And there's a lot of fun in that. I don't know, I'm looking forward to playing more. What else? I've been playing Super Hot, okay? So, I went up to a friend's house, and he said he got Super Hot in the PlayStation. So I don't have a VR headset, so I spend a lot of time.
Oh, you mean Super Hot VR? You've been playing Super Hot VR?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you just meant the original Super Hot.
Okay, so what's happened here is he had Super Hot VR, and I was like, can I play it? I will get to this. I was like, could I have a go off the Super Hot VR, please? Because I've heard so many good things about it. He was like, yeah, set up the VR, in we go, okay? I just want to point out as well, every time I start up the VR headset, it's such a mental thing. I just kind of go, this is absolutely insane every time it starts up. But Super Hot VR is probably my favourite VR experience.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that game just makes you out to be Neo, and that is straight up what they do. The amount of, like, when a bullet goes past you, it's just the craziest thing when you stand still and you kind of don't know whether you should move or what. And like chopping the bullets, those little touches, like when you kind of reflect a bullet off a sword or your gun or something, and you hear that.
Did you catch one?
No.
You can catch them.
Oh, that's just that's
you can
amazing.
Literally catch the bullets, and it makes your hand go all funny. Like it's almost like weird time dilation. But yeah, you can catch them.
Oh, ridiculous! Like it's such a cool concept, and it is amazing on VR. However, the story can piss off. There's no need for it. There's no need for a story.
But Super Hot and Super Hot VR are different games.
Yeah,
like they are. Like Super Hot VR is a separate thing.
So
the story in Super Hot does make sense.
So I got through a good chunk of the VR, and I was like,
it's quite tricky, the VR version, actually.
Yeah. So I said to myself, Jesus, will I pick it up on the sale? Just super hot. And I got it for a tenner, and finished it in one sitting. Enjoyed it. I did not like the story in normal.
Okay.
I just thought it was just pointless because the game is so much fun, even like outside of VR. I just feel when you get any bit of dialogue cutscene, I'm like, look, just stop, just let me play, because I just want to play this game.
Yeah. I mean, I think they put it there because they had to frame the game somehow, if you know what I mean. Like, otherwise it would just be levels, which might be fine.
Absolutely, I do understand, but it's definitely better in VR. Like
it is actually, yeah, it is. It's the best VR game.
Yeah, saying that, it's still a lot of fun outside of VR, and like there is a bit of a challenge in it. Like even there's one level where you're just in an elevator. And there's 4 guys.
Oh yeah, that is the hardest level, I think.
Like, I didn't know how I was supposed to get through it, and I definitely got through that level in a poxy way. But it's a lot of fun, and it's definitely worth, like, if you have a VR headset, it's insane if you don't own this game already. Like,
yep,
it definitely is. Other than that, I have been playing What Remains of Edith Finch.
Oh,
now,
Chris, are you careful?
I'm prepared.
Okay. So, going back, I think it might have been last week, we were discussing these kind of games. And I was saying how...
Oh, yeah, you've been sitting on this a while.
Yeah, and I've just been kind of a bit... just whatever about these kind of games. Do you know that feeling when you finish a game and you feel as if that game was just made for you? Edith Finch did that to me.
Wow.
Yes.
I cannot get over how good it was. I think the whole story is phenomenal. It just pulls on the heartstrings, like, constantly. But what it does in terms of its storytelling and what you have to do in the gameplay blew my mind. Like, I avoided everything about this game. Like, I did not expect what happens in it. Like, for me personally, as a horror fan, I'm just going to say the comic thing.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I could not get over what was happening. I couldn't get over the music. Everything surrounding it was unbelievable. So much that, like, the next morning, I finished it in one sitting that night, got up the next morning and started it again. And just played through it. It is, hands down, to me, better than Gone Home. This is, like, my favourite style. This is my favourite game of this style.
It's beautiful.
Definitely. When it started, like, the opening, I was kind of going, okay, here we go. And it is, she does move a bit slow, and I was kind of like, right.
That's fair.
I was like, okay, it's slow. And I did enjoy the text coming along, whatever. And there was a couple of... It doesn't run that smoothly when you're outside. It's a bit janky, ever so slightly, but it's not like the worst thing in the world, you know. But my God, when that game gets going, I just didn't know what to say when I finished it. I just felt like I was after playing. I'm actually devastated that I didn't play it last year, because it would have been in my top 5. Like that.
Chris could have done with you on the podcast.
I could have, mate. I could have.
Like it. I don't know. It's kind of, it's unbelievable that this comes out, and it, like, for a style like of a game such as this, the originality that they put into it is unbelievable. Like, do you remember the whole, like, I'm trying to be vague for anyone who hasn't played it, but do you know the fish head thing?
Yeah,
yes.
That's the penultimate. But no, it's the last one, isn't it?
Yeah, that's just fucking incredible.
Yeah,
like,
that's incredible. Yeah,
it's incredible. Like, that's all that came through my head when I was playing it. I was like, this is just incredible. This is why I love video games. And I don't know, it was so moving, and the music was incredible, and it's so annoying because the soundtrack isn't anywhere. I know you can buy the vinyl from a site, and I know you can buy the soundtrack off Steam, but it's not on Spotify or anything like that, which is really gutting because it's such a lovely soundtrack. But yeah, like, I don't really have anything bad to say. I just think it's an incredibly important game, and like when it ended, I was just speechless. Really, I just think it's a phenomenal game.
There's just so much memorable about it. Like, you know, even again, trying to be vague, the swing, or the kite.
Even that alone, right? That whole swing thing, like, it almost kind of like you're figuring it out as soon as it begins. You're kind of going, what the fuck?
Yeah, you know where it's going.
Yeah. And
that actually made me motion sick. It's not that's very rare. That for some reason made me feel a bit sick, that bit, and I still loved it though.
Yeah. But oh man, it was just so incredible. Like, I'm going to play it again this week. I'm just that in love with it. Like, it was truly special. But that's really all I've been playing. Gary, what have you been playing, my man?
Well, yeah, I happen to know Gary's got a new PC.
Oh, how did you know that?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I've been playing. I mean, I've only had it. Time of recording, I've only had it for like a day. But good God, is it pretty? I mean, Adam's seen pictures of it, and it kind of looks like a Portal turret. You know, it's like that kind of black and white, angular kind of thing going on. But it handles games pretty nicely.
Did you buy this straight out, or did you build it?
I bought it.
Cool.
Well, what do we do when we get a new PC? We play old games, right?
Yes, we do. And I went straight for The Witcher 3. Good God, is it pretty? You know, stuck it on. I mean, I've got it on like 1080p, like the high to ultra settings, and it's hitting 60 frames per second, and it looks so good. I mean, it was a pretty game before, and I played it through on PS4 originally, and I adore that game, and it was always pretty, but the detail that I've got on it now is just ridiculous. Same goes for Project Cars 2, which I loaded that up today, and again I've got that on like the highest settings, and it's hitting 60 frames a second, and it looks incredible.
I think, you know, people still out there saying like, oh, 60 frames doesn't matter. It does.
Yeah, I mean,
it does.
I'm usually of the mind is like, it doesn't bother me. You know, if it hits 60,
no, not saying it'll bother me, but you know,
I mean, seeing the difference, it's great. It's so nice. And I'm probably going to be that PC douche for a little while. You know, just going, look how pretty and smooth everything runs.
It takes a while to wear off.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to have. I've also been playing Zelda as well on Switch, which
it's an okay game.
Oh yeah, cheers. Sorry. I've sunk 70 hours into it, and like I've done loads. I mean, I finished it. Then I went back, got all the memories, and did the proper ending as well.
Yeah.
And I've just been loving it, just wandering around everywhere, just seeing what you can find, and some of the little touches that you find here and there, which just bring the world to life. When, you know, realistically, it's quite a boring world, but when you actually see all the little things in it, it somehow brings it to life.
Absolutely. Like that game is coming up to being a year old soon, and already like there's still, like, Adam, you sent me a video like during the week of a person like flying across the sky on a tree.
On a tree, yeah.
And it's that kind of magic, I think, that makes this game so good, that even coming up to a year, people are still finding these creative ways of playing it. It like, as you said, the world can come across boring, but it's actually full of stuff like this. It's full of stuff to do.
Yeah.
It's did you get the DLC?
No.
Okay.
No.
I definitely I haven't gotten to the second part of it, but the trials are definitely worth in the first part going for. Like, I'm looking forward to playing the second part, but it's a fucking brilliant game.
Yeah,
It is.
Yeah, absolutely. I just love the freedom. You know, I mean, we talked about this a lot in the Game of the Year stuff, but it's just the fact that you it's unlikely that people are going to find the same thing the same way. It's like getting to a certain shrine or whatever. You'll find some people will do it in a completely bizarre way, which you'd never think of, but because it just doesn't. It doesn't do the usual video game things. It really is a case of you can do like almost anything. If you can think of it, you could probably do it somehow. It's just ridiculously good.
Are you playing it more portable or docked?
I haven't played it at all portable. It's one that I refuse, because it's just like I want those big TV vistas.
Yeah, that's fair.
You played anything else, Gaz?
That's about it at the minute. But I've got a few more things to play on PC.
Yes.
The only other thing I've played is I've been playing a bit of Shovel Knight on Switch, which
fair play.
I never finished it on the Wii U, sorry, and then I picked it up on the Switch when it was on sale, and I finished the main game. Did some of the Plague of Shadows DLC, the second one they did.
Yeah, and there's a couple of bits of DLC now.
Yeah, and I got so far and I was like, I have to stop doing this one because it's not fun.
It's harder, isn't it?
It's ridiculous because you're playing the exact same levels as you did in the main game, but then you're coming back to them, and the way Plague Knight handles, and it's not suited for those levels, and some of the bosses are just I just didn't have fun. So then I just moved on to the Spectre of Torment, and so far I've been really enjoying that one, because it's more of like it's built for Spectre Knight, and it's a completely new story and stuff like that, and it feels more fun. It feels more like playing the first time you play Shovel Knight. It's the same sort of feeling. It's great game. I'm really loving it.
It is. Well, let's stick with Nintendo then as we move into the news, because it wasn't enough for them to do that Nintendo Mini Direct the other week where they announced a load of release dates and games and all that sort of stuff. They've put out a trailer for a thing and a release date of the 20th of April for Nintendo LABO. So, Nintendo LABO, for those that have lived under a rock, basically is Nintendo releasing software and a peripheral, I suppose. It's cardboard, essentially, that you break out and make into. It's basically cardboard Meccano, and it comes with games, and you can make a robot kit, a VR headset, a fishing rod, a motorbike, a house, whatever they feel like making. There's like even little like RC controlled cars. Like, this is so quintessentially Nintendo.
Yeah,
I it's incredible. Like, it left me speechless. I just had to like rush and show my wife, like, look at this, it's ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Look at this thing.
Yeah, it's such a good idea, and it's like so simple. And the fact that they said it straight away. It's aimed at kids and big kids, but it's perfect for them.
It is. I mean, Chris, your kids are a bit younger than mine.
Yeah,
you got a Switch.
Yeah, well, they talking about Zelda. They my eldest, she's 8, Evelyn. She asked to start Breath of the Wild today, so she was on that this afternoon, and I showed her the trailer for this, and she was just like mouth open, like the moment that they start playing the piano, it's like how does that work? It just looks awesome, and definitely gonna get that when it comes out, just because I just think when the Switch came out, and it was like, there's a game every month, but then next year, 2018, what are they going to do? And they're just keeping it coming, and they seem to have really thought about it this time, and then they're not going to let it die. They're doing it with these genius ideas, and I just can't wait to see this. I think it's going to be great, and we're going to start seeing it like in gameplay videos soon, and there's those events they're doing in like the big cities where people get to play it. So we're going to see it working in the real world, and I just can't wait to see how it works, and just I just want to see more of it. And I'm just really glad that they've done this. I just think they're not gonna. There's no slowing down now, and I'm happy for them, and I'm just happy to see something so just happy come out. And yeah, I just can't wait to see more, mate. To be honest, I think it's a great idea.
The piano thing is especially interesting because it answers a question about the Switch I think people have had, is that what are those IR sensors for on and that's what it is. Like, they face in and they're able to perceive the depth between each one another to know which note is being played.
Yeah.
And I don't want to oversell it, but it's genius. And you know, whether or not it's good or not, I don't know, I haven't played it, but like the idea is almost absurdly simple, yet it's genius. Adam, big Nintendo fan.
It's kind of funny because I have a bit of a hate thing towards it for one small reason. On the morning of knowing that this was happening, one of my friends texted me and said, "Do you want to come to my place and watch the Nintendo announcement?" And I was like,
"Yeah,
oh yeah, absolutely." So I went about a 20-minute journey in for a 2.5-minute video. And I was like, Jesus Christ, is that it? But no, to be fair, I think this is like it was weird because when it happened, I looked at it and I was like, what? Like, it was so not what I expected. I don't
think anyone could have predicted this.
Right? No. I was sitting there and I was kind of going, maybe it's something to do with Mario Party or Minecraft or something along that lines, you know, I don't know. But this was like, as soon as it started, I went, what the fuck is this? What's happening? But in the end, I kind of went, like, I'm not going to personally, like, if someone gave it to me, I'd definitely have a go and see how it works, but I'm not going to, like, rush out day one to buy it. If I had kids, different story, I'd be like, amazing. And I get that. But one of the best things about this for me is it's a real massive, like, fuck you to the parents who say that games are a waste of time and not creative.
Yeah.
It really is, because, like, when Minecraft came around, I think that's when some parents, like, would be like, it's nice to have it, you know, they get to build and it's, you know, it gets their mind going and stuff, you know, you're like, yeah, alright, cool. And then this comes out, and this is like, it's arts and crafts.
Yep.
It's straight up arts and crafts. There's colouring, there's this, like, it's going to just make kids' brains. I know my niece and nephew are going to go insane for this. They're going to want to Switch this Christmas. Like,
yep.
Guaranteed they'll go, Switch, Senti, sort me out. Like, that is what's going to happen. And that to me is just, it's something else. And even, as you said, the piano thing, there's like some camera thing. The use of the Joy-Cons is, it's crazy. It's the last thing I thought Nintendo would come up with. And to me, it just goes, like, we're still not even a year in with the Switch.
That's true.
We're not even a year in, and they've gotten this creative already. Yes, look, you got your jokes, you got your cardboard jokes, whatever, right? Fine. But when it comes down to it, Nintendo they're standing out like above everyone else, I think. Like, to go and know that this console is releasing Nintendo LABO, and then you can get Dark Souls, you can get Mario Odyssey, you can get LA Noire. It's unbelievable, and I think it's the best thing ever to see for kids. And I think, like, even for the likes of you, Adam, and Chris, like, for your kids, it's going to be the best. Do you know what I mean?
My kids probably won't be interested.
But look, saying that, like, you might say that now. I'm saying I'm not going to be that interested, but come the day, you will want to have a go off it. And do you remember in the video, there's, I think it's like, it looks like a jetpack on the kid's back, but when they open it up,
some rhyming skills there, mate.
Gee, like, yeah, I know. But the inside of it is so
like Meccano. It's ridiculous.
Like Meccano.
Yeah.
It's like, what is going on there? There's rubber bands everywhere.
See, I'm not convinced. Like, they say it's for kids. I think this might be, very quietly, and they would never say it, I think this might be their attempts at Wii Sports. Because if you think about Wii Sports, the thing that did was it got non-gamers playing games.
Yeah.
And you say about my kids, the person I think actually this might appeal to would like a go on this is actually my wife.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm saying?
Man,
I think it's going to be both.
But
maybe.
But that's the interesting thing about it overall is that, like, you actually can't really just point it out and be a kid's thing. Like, you can't just go, this is just for kids, because they had it down. They said it in that tagline. Like, it's for adults as well. With
Young
like,
at heart, or whatever it was. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're so on point with it. Like, the one thing about it is the price going to be worth it?
Yeah, I didn't mention that. It's between, I think, was it, because it's literally the dollars to pounds thing again, so it's like $69.99. Yeah, like, 60 to, I think, tops out at $79.99, doesn't it?
Possibly,
That is a bit expensive for something that will most definitely get damaged.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
like,
I'm a bit worried about putting the Switch in a cardboard thing that you're flailing around with. The actual Switch, not the Joy-Cons, the Switch.
Yeah, see, it's one of those things where we have to obviously, like, all have a go off of it and see for ourselves. But like, how many how many little accessories are going to come with this? Like, is there a certain thing where, will you go into the local GameStop or something, or Game, and pick me up a packet of rubber bands? Like,
well, the other thing is, like, it is cardboard. How many times can you fold it up and fold it back down again before it starts to get weak, and then the Switch console starts to fall out?
Yeah, like, there's that. But I wonder as well, Nintendo being Nintendo, is this going to be a case where the rubber band is after snapping? Oh, look, here's a
Nintendo
normal
branded
one.
rubber bands.
But, like, is there that? Is it going to be you have to actually get the Nintendo rubber bands, or you have to get the Nintendo cardboard? Like,
I mean, mate, they sell Amiibo. They probably are going to be branded rubber bands, Nintendo ones. They'd just be red ones.
Yeah. Look, either way, it is interesting, and I'm definitely excited to see what happens with it, because I can see people our age coming out with crazy things.
I can see them coming out with filthy things.
Stop. Come on, no. You already went on about a penis game. Fuck's sake.
Well, the good thing is, if you do get injured, using your VR in this Switch LABO...
Wonderful. I know where you're going. Wonderful.
Thank you. You could just take that injury and you could get healthy again by playing Sega's newly announced 2 Point Hospital, which I'm concerned I'm the only one who is squealing with excitement inside about this game, because this is the spiritual successor to Theme Hospital. It's made by 2 Point Studios.
Absolutely there.
I loved Theme Hospital and Theme Park. They were fantastic games, and it surprises me it's taken this long. Wonderful, wonderful. I can't wait. I cannot wait. It looks like they've just nailed it again. Even the trailer, it looks like they have got the ethos. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's actually quite... It's interesting as you say that, because even if you boot up Theme Hospital now, it still holds up really well.
I was considering doing that, and then I realised I haven't got the time to eat at the moment, let alone play a game from my childhood.
It still is, because I went back to it last year, and it's still really funny, really addictive. Like 2 Point Hospital, like, I haven't looked into it much, but have they said what kind of new features are going to be in this? Or
no, they've literally all we know about it is that it's very, I mean, even if they didn't say it, it's very clearly the spiritual successor to the Hospital.
Yeah, absolutely.
2 Point Studios are making it, and I believe that there are people in 2 Point Studios that started out like at Lionhead, so that's the humour element in there. But that's kind of all they've said. They've John Clark, Executive VP of Publishing for Sega, he said that we're committed to finding and working with... Do you know what? Actually, forget the comment, the quote. Sega are kind of rebooting themselves. Mm. And they're doing it without saying they're doing it, but Sonic, Theme Hospital, they're kind of rebooting themselves slowly. Yakuza.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair.
Like, they're not, are we going to get Echo the Dolphin next? Do you know what I mean? It just,
Well, I don't know. If they're taking on some, like, Bullfrog games, I want a new reboot of Populous and Dungeon Keeper.
No chance, mate. No chance.
Well,
this 2 Point Hospital, though, coming to Steam PC game this year, which is cool. It's nice to get a game announced and know it's coming soon. Battle Royale news this week. We've got a couple of bits. So Fortnite Battle Royale has passed 40 million players. They've updated the map, and I can only say in this house, this game continues to be exceedingly popular. So the 40 million individual players essentially means 40 million accounts have played the game, but they have also gone past the 2 million simultaneous player milestone. So cumulative, not cumulative, concurrent. So some people are saying we could be the biggest and best played game in the Western world, said lead designer Eric Williams. Yeah, the map's been overhauled. I still think it's a good game. I just think, we're definitely going to see a lot of Battle Royale games this year, aren't we?
Yeah.
They're already entering VR Battle Royale games.
Really?
Yeah.
It still just bothers me.
What does?
Because it's just PUBG came along and it's done really well, and then these games are now coming in and they're basically just flat out copying that mechanic. I mean, it's not an original concept. It's just it's the first time it's really sort of come into games properly.
Maybe, yeah.
And it's just the fact that I don't know, it bothers me. Fortnite it did alright, and it only really got this big once it did this new mode.
That is fair, but it does do it well.
Yeah, I mean, I've yet to play it. I still need to actually try it out. But it's just I don't know. It just, especially when you had was it Paladins that were coming and just gone, no, our game is called Battlegrounds, or rather our mode is, and it's just, I don't know, it just bothers me. I mean, it could be a good thing overall, but yeah, just it's a little bit weird.
Well, sticking with PUBG and PUBG style games, on the test servers, this comes via Eurogamer. Test servers, they're doing 3 changes. They're testing changes to do with the blue zone. Or the blue field. First of all, the blue zone waiting times are going to be decreased, so in other words, you're going to have to move quicker, which is, if you're that close to one, you're already fucked. Also, at the same time, the shrinking speed, which is the one that is bringing you closer together, is going to decrease, and also it's going to get an increase in damage per second for anyone who's caught in it. In the very last blue zone, that is. So it'd be interesting to see if they carry that through, or if they just test it, if they actually do. I mean, it's hard to say. That's the PC version anyway, obviously. So, yeah, still continues to be a phenomenon. Speaking of phenomenon,
sorry, just to go off. I only played PUBG for the first time during the week, and I was hooked.
Really?
Yeah. I thought it was so much fun. It was really intense, and I even tried to boot it up on my own laptop that did not run it, so I was really upset over it. So no, I just spend a lot of evenings watching people play it on Twitch.
It's hard not to. Yeah. Well, thank you, by the way. Speaking of Twitch, I've put this story in for one reason and one reason alone. Let's see if people can work out what it is when we finished with it. So Twitch have basically put deals in place to get exclusive content for people. Not unusual, you'd say. That's kind of the way broadcasting works. You get people in, you make them content. The thing about this is that the people happen to be YouTubers, and they're very popular ones. Markiplier, and I presume a friend of yours, Jacksepticeye, Adam.
Mm-hmm.
No?
Mm-hmm. No.
I thought that warranted more. I thought that wasn't that bad.
No.
No, I find Jacksepticeye quite interesting because I first saw of him or heard of him, well, literally heard him from 3 rooms away on an iPad in our house, and I thought, who the fuck is that doing an impression of my friend Colin Ahern from Saint and Greensy days, where he used to start episodes by going, "Hi there, listener," and it turned out it wasn't. It was Jacksepticeye, but he seems to have become quite a mature YouTuber. I don't mean mature content. He seems to be sensible. Just me?
I've not seen anything for a while of his. I watched him for a while, but he got a bit too much for me. Too loud kind of thing.
What I guess I'm saying is he comes across as kind of an alright dude.
Yeah.
And he is one of the... Again, it's hard to talk about YouTubers without sounding like you're taking the piss. But in terms of, I don't mean in terms of content, but in terms of morals and personality, he seems to come across as one of the cleaner guys on YouTube. He's not got any muck around him. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of YouTubers at the moment, and the fact that he's signing deals with Twitch is a big thing, I think.
Well, it's coming at a time when there's like a lot of things going on with YouTube which people are unhappy about. And it's almost like Twitch, because Twitch are starting this whole almost like YouTube style thing, aren't they? Like recorded videos rather than just all streaming. And it seems like they're kind of going, come to us instead.
We're available, Twitch, if you're listening. Adam, as the youngest person here, then here's a pop quiz for you. Okay.
Okay.
It's simple yes or no answers. So all you have to tell me is if you've heard of them. How old are you again? You're 28?
29.
Nearly. I think you might have even told me that last week. Right, ready? Have you heard of Markiplier?
No.
Jacksepticeye?
Yes.
Because you're... Fucking go with the joke, Ad. Go with the joke.
I don't know where you want me to go with this. I'm just answering yes or no.
It's a play on, of course he's my friend because he's Irish and we all know each...
Okay, he is my friend. Yes, we talk about potatoes all the time.
That's a throwback to a conversation.
When you said that, and that was nearly sprayed everywhere.
The trouble is that's a throwback to a conversation Adam and I had offline. So, all right, but in all seriousness, I have heard of Markiplier and Jacksepticeye, but again, I'm the oldest on the podcast, so Ad as the youngest person, if you can level out. Have you heard of Strawberry 17?
No.
And Luzu Games?
No.
Well, congratulations. But so hang on, sorry, Markiplier. Had you heard of him?
No.
Then I will congratulate you because with a record of only knowing of 1 out of 4, you are now, and welcome to the club, officially old.
Jesus.
Yep. Sorry.
But what do all these people stream? Is it like Minecraft and stuff? And
I can only speak of Jacksepticeye because I can't remember what Markiplier does. But Jacksepticeye doesn't stream. He does like the pre-produced, the same stuff we do, but in a more YouTubey way, I guess. Okay. And he does the stuff I've seen of him. He plays quite odd games like that you haven't heard of sometimes, as well as the big stuff as well.
Yeah, Markiplier's the same. It's the same sort of thing. Yeah. And he plays a bit of kind of everything, but he does play some of the bigger games and plays quite a lot of them, as well as playing stuff like the current one, that Getting Over It, which is like...
I played that, yeah. I'll talk about that next week.
But yeah, it's that kind of thing, same sort of thing as Jacksepticeye.
But this is, I just think this is big because this is Twitch. So it's the story I'm reading off Eurogamer here. A total of 4 YouTubers who we mentioned who have a combined total of over 44 million subscribers, and they're each going to manage their own channels on Twitch, and they're all part of the Digital Disney Network, formerly known as Maker Studios. That's a YouTube thing. Things are changing. People have had enough of YouTube, haven't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Jesus, it's had like all these like what do you call it, streamers and stuff. They're all sick of it. It's become too much, and they need to find a different platform. Like their YouTube seem to be banning, like, well, not banning, but like cutting a lot of good people's videos who are genuinely good and making a living from it, and they're not getting rid of the controversial ones. They're just... I mean,
to put it into context... Backwards. To put it into context, we're not a huge channel on YouTube by any stretch of the imagination. We're a very small one. At the time of recording, the last 4 videos I uploaded were demonetized for not complying with the advertisers... whatever it is their algorithms are, and like they're not published for the money. You know what I mean? They're not, because we don't make anything, much off of the videos. But the only thing one of them was Genital Jousting, and it's like, right, fair enough, no one's going to want to put ads on that because it's not safe for work. But the other ones, maybe there was a couple of fucks thrown in there and a bit of violence, but like, I hate to break this to you, but an awful lot of video games have got violence in them.
Yep.
So
I think it's a pile of shit. Like, I really do. Like, it just really annoys me. Obviously, it annoys a lot of people, but personally, it's not like, as you said, we're not a massive channel, and you're just creating content for entertainment, for the passion that you have for video games, and some dickhead is just going, nah, not having it.
You can't monetize that.
No, it's not right, and I think like this whole thing with Twitch, I hope it works out, because if Twitch become the new YouTube for gamers, like if we take all focus of gaming away from YouTube, so be it. I'd love to see it happen.
Crikey, fighting words.
No, well, you fixed.
Well, we're fixed that we're going to finish on a story. Well, I'm going to say this. I think this is a fantastic news story, and I really hope it's true. There are, I would say at this point, heavy rumours that Fable 4 is happening. Now, I am very pleased to hear this because I want exclusives for my Xbox. And even better than this, the rumour goes that Playground Games, the makers of the, again, I'm going to say it, the best Forza Horizon, are the ones behind it. And
cool.
It sounds weird when you think about it. Like, Forza Horizon devs are making Fable 4, but like Forza Horizon's incredible. They've got my trust. But this is all combined, basically, that there's some conjecture here that everyone knows Microsoft needs new games, exclusive IP, and that Fable's been dormant a while but was popular, combined with the fact that Playground, where they had a job listing for someone who would be working on a development that was existing, a lead programmer or something like that, for an RPG-led game. And also now there's an interview with Daily Star where creative director Ralph Fulton confirmed that Xbox One will be the lead platform for Playground's next project. How do we feel about this?
That's it. I'm excited to see more Fable. It was sad when we heard about Lionhead, and it's been a long time since Fable 3. I think Fable 2 is my favourite of all time. I think it was excellent. So I'd love to see some more, definitely.
I haven't played much of Fable at all.
You don't own an Xbox, do you? So I suppose you're shrugging a bit?
Yeah, it seems like a series that I would love. But yeah, I don't know. I would like it'd be amazing to see 1, 2, and 3 come out with 4, like kind of similar to what Gears of War did.
What if it's that? What if that's what this is?
Oh, don't.
Oh, can you imagine the disappointment if they just announced the Fable collection that Playground had made 1 through 3? Oh my god, that never even occurred to me. That could be a thing.
Sorry.
I don't know.
Oh my god.
They've already remade 1.
That's true. They made Fable Anniversary, didn't they? No, you said Fanny Anniversary then. I don't know what my head was thinking then. Jesus.
Genitals on the mind.
Yeah. It's me. So, I really hope this is true.
I'm kind of on the fence about it because I enjoyed Fable, and Fable 2 is really good. Fable 3 wasn't that great, especially the end game was just ridiculous. It was terrible.
Was it 3 where the ending choice was just so binary, and it was like after all that you decided to just throw a choice in right at the end?
Yeah, it was that thing where you had like a certain amount of time. I forget exactly what it was, but it's basically to prepare for a battle or something, and the time would just suddenly go from like you have 300 days left to you have 100 days left, and you're like, what? Where the fuck did those days go? And it was just bad. But I don't know. If it is true and it's Playground doing it, then I'm interested. Cause
I mean, if it is Playground doing it, I am fucking hyped. Like, because they almost got me back into racing games single-handedly. Like, Horizon games have just been incredible, and they made me love racing games again in a way. They're just fantastic at making them.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know my thoughts on the racing games, but like I normally prefer stuff like the Forza Motorsport games, but Horizon 3 was just phenomenal. And I mean, I give it 9.5 out of 10.
About that sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah, and like Forza 7, I gave 8.5. I forget.
I think you gave it 8.5. Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of showed that it was just like the Horizon games just had that something that the motorsport games have started to lack.
They've got the soul. They've got the soul.
Yeah.
And personality
Yeah, and if they put that into another open world for like an RPG or whatever it ends up being, that could be brilliant. I mean, you could be looking at. I'm going to mention it again, like Xbox's Horizon.
Well, there's talk.
It's just it's the same sort of idea, isn't it? Because you had like.
But there's talk that they've been part of the influence in that people suggesting that Microsoft have seen how Sony are making first party single player games like that. We should go back to doing that too.
Yeah.
I doubt that's true, because I would imagine if this game is at the point of close to being announced, it would have had to have been in development for probably 2 years, which is before I think Horizon was announced, wasn't it? I can't remember.
Yeah, I think it will be, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, Fable 4, we'll keep you up to date, obviously, if we hear anything. Hopefully it's true. Questions and correspondence, then. I'll start with you, Chris, here, from Kieran S. at McPoo, MC Poo. Wants to know, basically, if we were Tekken characters, who would we be and why? Chris, who would you be in Tekken and why?
Kuma.
Damn, you motherfucker! Okay, well, I'll go last then, because I'm going to have a quick Google of Tekken characters. Anyone else want to go? Ignore the typing you can hear there. That's nothing. I better get that in.
It's Eddie Gordo, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'd have to pick him, because if I was able to move the way he moves, if I popped around to my local pub and did what he did, I'd be the fucking business of my tongue. All I'm gonna say.
Okay, Gary, slowly, please, because I'm still looking at characters.
I think probably someone like Yoshimitsu.
Slower than that, please.
Yeah, Yoshimitsu, because he's a bit, I don't know, he pops up in every one of them, and he's weird every time. And
I was going to go for fucking Yoshimitsu after that. Carry on.
Yeah.
Plus, you could also just do that really insane move where he stabs himself.
Yeah.
And then everyone would just go, "What's his story? Jesus."
Yeah, it's the move if you ever go into a party or something and you really don't like it, you know. Sword in the chest.
I've got it.
Go home.
I've got it. Go on. I'm ready.
Adam,
Chris,
who would you be?
I want this nice and clean. Could you ask me freshly? Ready? Go.
Adam, what Tekken
This is
character
brilliant,
would
by the
you
way.
be?
Sorry, go on.
Adam, what Tekken character would you be and why?
I would be Mokujin, and the reason I'd be Mokujin is because he is. I'm gonna read this from the Wikipedia, because I think it's quite funny that they had to add this qualifier. So Mokujin is a fictional character, believe it or not. So Mokujin started in Tekken 3, and he mimics the Fighting Star's mother characters. That's not me, but however, he is a training dummy, essentially. He's a big wooden training dummy. Do you know what I mean now?
Oh, yeah.
And he basically takes a licking and keeps on kicking. No matter how many times he gets punched in the gut, that motherfucker gets up and fights on. So I am Mokujin. Yes, right. Chris Hyde, this is actually a really hard question that I've been trying to think about on and off all day, and I'm really hoping someone's got a good answer. But I've got the easy answer, so I'm going to go first. Chris Hyde at Chris Hyde 83 says, given the recent DMC revelation, he was obviously referring to the fact that people are playing it and loving it all of a sudden, what is everyone's recommendation of a lesser played game that, in their opinion, everyone must play? Now, I'm going first because I have one for this, and it's the lazy option, but it is an honest option. It's the same developer. I would go for Enslaved. I think that game's fantastic, and I think that has got even less love than DMC, if that's even possible. I think Enslaved is a wonderful game with like just the most amazing characters, in a bit similar to Horizon Zero Dawn, which again we mentioned the Danny Dwyer documentary. They got sort of scared when they saw that announced because they thought it was similar. But Trip from Enslaved is similar to Aloy in that you just kind of fall in love with her a bit. Like, she's just wonderful. And Monkey's a great character. And even the DLC Pigsy, it's just great. I think Enslaved is a wonderful game. Again, same developer, Ninja Theory, different publisher. It was Namco Bandai that time. And actually know people who worked on the game from Namco. They pushed the hell out of that game and it just couldn't catch fire. And I think it deserved more love. And I suppose another one. See, he says everyone must play. I would say if he eased it and said everyone should maybe consider playing, I think there was more to Remember Me than was given credit. I don't think it was the most incredible game ever made, but I think Don't Nod have shown with that and Life is Strange they're making interesting games. Like the combat was really cool, and I think the world was cool. I think that I kind of enjoyed Remember Me. but I don't think we'll ever see that ever again. Anyone else? Can they name a lesser played game that, in their opinion, everyone must play?
Ocarina of Time.
No.
No, I actually have two, and
Cool.
one of them may not be lesser, but I do consider both of these games must plays. The one that maybe isn't lesser, I'm going to say Alien Isolation.
I would agree.
I think it's already being forgotten. I don't see it around the place much. I don't hear people talk about it. I don't even see it crop up on sales and
I've
stuff.
got another one. Sorry, carry on. I'm just going to write it down. No,
I
because
just
you're going
think
to
it's
steal it.
one of the. It is the best Alien game ever made, and it's an absolutely astonishing survival horror game. But the one that I will say is Spec Ops: The Line.
Oh yeah, that's a great shout.
That is an incredible game. Like, ignore the dog shit cover and the terrible enough title. Like, it just has a story that I can never
If they'd have
forget.
called that game Heart of Darkness and put it out as a game called Heart of Darkness, do you think it'd have sold better? Because it's a terrible name, that game. Terrible name.
What, Spec Ops?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Awful
yeah.
name.
Was it
it's
actually
really-
based on the old Spec Ops games? Was it supposed to be like the same thing? It was just
No, I
they
don't
just-
think so.
It's such a, like... I remember, I think it was around the same time when it came out, Colin Mahern had it as well. I think we were both just like, this story is mind-blowing. Like, it has major decisions in the game. I just think that is one everyone should go back to. And it's only on PS3 and 360, so you're going to have to, like, take out one of those consoles, but it's so worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Is it backwards
what I have in
compatible yet?
No.
Don't think so. No, I don't think so.
No, it's not. It's kind of hard to come by as well. You don't see it that often in stores and all that, but you can get it still for dirt cheap online.
It reminds me of that era, because do you remember that? I think that was around the time XCOM came out. And do you remember there was that third-person XCOM game as well? What was that called? XCOM The Bureau.
Yeah.
Remember that? I never went near that.
I played a preview build of it, and it was pretty good. But I just don't know why that. I just remember because again, it was 2K games. They were all 2K games, and Chris, Gary, any you can think of?
I've got one.
Go on.
The Beginner's Guide.
Okay.
I think The Beginner's Guide is one of the best games I've ever played. I've never really heard anyone talk about it.
I can't remember if I've played that. Oh yes, I have. It's the one
So
where
it's by-
that's an
by
amazing
Davey-
game.
Yes, by Davey Redden, who made Stanley Parable.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's essentially, he's talking over the game. He's narrating the game, going through like lots of different kind of abstract game ideas and game creations made by this developer that was named Coda. And it goes from one to the next, and it's in like an hour and a half, but as it kind of gets closer and closer to the end, it kind of shows a real kind of darkness in kind of game
that game
development,
goes dark.
and trying to connect with players. And by the end, it ends on it's really kind of powerful and kind of moving, and it can be. I mean, you can perceive it as a number of things, but after he made Stanley Parable, he had a real struggle dealing with like the success of it, and it kind of made him become a recluse. He had this really like naff kind of blog, like, and he wrote on it like he's staying away from it, or he can't cope with it, and he dealt with depression, that kind of thing. And then this came out, and as you start playing it, you just assume that Coda's this random character, but essentially it feels very much like, well, it's him. He's talking about himself, and it's just incredibly powerful. And then it ends on this really kind of I'm not going to say, but it just ends really kind of emotional, and then the song at the end is just really kind of haunting and beautiful, and it's fucking top game. Like, hour and a half. It's about £7 on Steam. I love it. Excellent game, made by an excellent developer.
I've got a couple more, Gaz. If you've not got any,
I'd say Oxenfree.
Yeah, cracking game.
That was a game that it kind of came out of nowhere, and it's so good. I mean, it's made by is it Night School or Night Schoolers or something like that?
It's their only game, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's like this is a studio made up of people who worked at like Disney and Telltale and stuff like that, and it's like this paranormal adventure, but I don't know, it's a really difficult one to sort of describe because you're using like a radio to talk, well, to kind of get in frequencies of like ghosts and things like that, and you try to work out a mystery of this island, and it's got a bit of, I mean, I've not watched it, but I gather like Stranger Things, if you like that, there's stuff in this that you're going to enjoy, and it's kind of got a bit of that 80s styling because it's so good. The dialogue system in it is probably the best I've seen in a game. You know,
was it you, Gary, that put that up on Twitter that it's on sale?
Yeah, it's on sale on Switch. I think it's still on sale on Switch.
It is, because I saw you and I got it. It was like $3.99. It's like absolute steal.
It's bloody good.
I'm excited for it.
If you can get it, I can't recommend it enough.
So I've got a couple more just to quickly throw out before we move on. Child of Eden. That was a Kinect game, but you could use a controller for like Ubisoft. That was on 360. That was fantastic. Oh, and PS3, sorry. Didn't get anywhere near enough to love. I would throw Sleeping Dogs into that category as well. I think Sleeping Dogs was amazing.
Yeah, Sleeping Dogs was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. I would throw the reboot of Syndicate and SSX from 360 last gen. The EA put out. Do you remember Syndicate? Anyone? No?
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
And I guess, I mean, I could say Darksiders because I love that series, and but the one that I would probably finish on is Enslaved. Enslaved, I said that is Catherine, which is hopefully going to get some attention because it's being re-released as a new game. So Catherine's amazing.
So good.
Darren at ROTMM on Twitter, he says a question. He says, with Street Fighter Arcade Edition being reviewed as a new game and some pretty heavy coverage in the media, compared to no one looking at Killer Instinct since it released 4 years ago, doesn't it show that gaming media still isn't ready for games as a service? To add to it, I've lost count of the number of times I've heard or read that EA should just release squad updates for the next iteration, but a huge reason they, or Konami with PES, don't do it is that it wouldn't generate media coverage and therefore lost some gamer interest. This is an interesting point because games as a service don't seem to be going away, but I think we're coming to a point where people are ready for them, but at the same time, he has got a point. Like, Killer Instinct doesn't really get much coverage that I see.
No.
And although I will say I disagree, I've not seen or heard anyone say that EA should just release a FIFA squad update. That's the thing we used to complain about. Like, we used to complain about, all EA do is put out FIFA last game with a new squad. You know, I've not heard anyone say they should do that. I've heard people saying they could, but not that they should. It's interesting. Street Fighter Arcade Edition is different. This sounds like an excuse, but I think the reason people are reviewing it as a new game is because that original game was so lacking that it feels like this is a fresh start. They've done right by that game eventually, whereas Killer Instinct wasn't that. Like, Killer Instinct was I suppose it was kind of released as a service to begin with, wasn't it? I mean,
it was always free, wasn't it? You just have like a character rotation.
That's right. I mean, I'm not. See, that's the other thing is I would also say that Street Fighter is Street Fighter. Like, Street Fighter is as big as they come when it comes to fighting games. There's a reason it closes Evo every year, whereas Killer Instinct is not a game I ever got into, and
it's a much more niche title.
And as well, people cover PS4 stuff more. They just do. It's the same way they cover 360 stuff more last gen. I do think gaming media are ready for games as a service. I think the difference here is, and the truth of the matter is, that there are only so many staff at so many big websites that people read. They can't cover everything. Like, it's impossible. It's impossible to cover everything. Yeah. Certainly to the degree you would like to. That's why I'm trying desperately to make a point this year of saying, yes, we should cover. Monster Hunter's a bad example because we want to, but yes, we should cover, Game X that we're interested in, but it's not the one we're desperate to play. But we should also cover PES because I like playing PES, so I'm going to talk about PES. Do you know what I mean? From last year, and I'm still playing it 6 months on or whatever. It's really hard because I think we're moving towards an industry that is increasingly hype driven, and that means you're either part of the conversation or you're fucking dust, and that's hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think everything that you've said is on point. I completely agree.
Oh, thank you very much.
I enjoy looking forward to the next PES. I wouldn't like to see squad updates or just features added via DLC or whatever. I enjoy the hype. I enjoy looking forward to the new game. I enjoy kind of go and play it, preview events and stuff like that, because there are definite improvements every year. Maybe not with every kind of game, but certainly with PES and FIFA being the main ones, and Call of Duty as well and stuff like that. These studios work really hard, and I think the people that buy these games are a testament to that. So I think there are certain games that work perfectly for that kind of thing, like Overwatch, for example. That's still getting publicity because it's a great game and it's well made, and the events they do with the new characters or the new maps, they get a lot of hype because it's a popular game, and not every game's going to do that. So it's down to what people want, and it seems very clear that people want the new FIFA, NBA, whatever. So yeah, that's my thoughts.
He says, like, does it show that games media isn't ready for games as a service? I don't think that's true.
No,
I think people there's a definite split, whether intentional or not, where some, again, it's never explicitly stated, but some people, it just the way they work, a review is the last word. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've written my review, I've popped a score in, and in some cases that's true. Like, at the time of recording, I've written and finished my review of PSVR game The Inpatient, but I can't talk about it because by the time the podcast goes up, it will still be under embargo. Yeah. That's the kind of game where, like, in that respect, because it's a single-player VR game that I finished, that's not the end of, but the kind of ellipses, ... at the end of the sentence, because it's like, that's probably finished. Writing a review of Dragon Ball FighterZ, which I've also done today, as it happens, that's not the end of that conversation. We know that game is going to be added to. We know there will be a season pass. We know there will be more added to it. We know they'll update it. It's important that those games are then covered with news stories, you know. And if you feel significantly that the game has changed enough, then you go back and update the score, because that's how it should be. The score should not be a full stop in an ongoing game. As for re-reviewing, it can be difficult because, for example, Street Fighter V for us was reviewed by a freelancer. So I don't feel comfortable going in and changing his score, because although I am the editor-in-chief of this website, if I change his score, which was a 9 anyway, to a 10 or something, or a 7, it's got his name on it. Even if I put update by Adam Cook, it feels wrong to me to do it. So it might be that I don't know. I haven't seen any re-reviews. I haven't read any because I'm playing it for myself. It might be a case of that the person playing it, games industry staff move around a fucking lot. Like, you know, we've mentioned Colin Mahern. He was with us a few years ago. Do you know what I mean? People move around a lot. So it's likely that if we go back and look at who reviewed, say, Mortal Kombat 9, they might not still be here to review Mortal Kombat 10. So there's an element of that. Like, I've never known an industry where people move around companies quite as much as this. So there's that as well. You know, I don't know. I think we're ready. I think, you know, Destiny 2, I think we've covered it well. It's
Look at Rainbow Six.
Rainbow Six, I think.
Rainbow Six. You've got the fighting games. It works really well for, because I mean, you get like a season or two of fighters coming out. Like, you've got Injustice 2, which is nearly at the end of what I would assume would be its first season. Because if it's anything like Mortal Kombat X was, you have a second season of characters. Yeah. So I imagine they'll do something like that. Stuff like FIFA, I think if you went back and if you did something like the games as a service, we'd end up back in the days where all FIFA was the same game every year. And that's when people started to hate it and they went over to PES.
See, what EA need to do, I think, is to make Ultimate Team a standout thing. So Ultimate Team is a service, and when they release FIFA 19, the gameplay changes they've made, they implement them into Ultimate Team, the game, and the new cards and the new kits. That's the way it should work. Rainbow Six Siege is a great example, and that's a game we've covered non-stop. You know, there were occasions we were invited to go to tournaments and stuff and cover that game as it happened as an esport, and we just didn't have the availability. We just couldn't go, you know. But we've tried. We've always tried, and you know, it's a time thing. There are so many games released. Like literally, there are games we can't talk about this week that we have been playing, and there are so many games released all the time. It's very difficult to say, even if you have a staff of 10 people. No, you just keep playing FIFA. Don't worry about anything else. You know, it's difficult. Yeah. Hope that answers the question. I don't know. Hopefully it does. That's this podcast for this week. Blah, blah, blah. I'll cut that bit. That's the podcast for this week. I'll just remind people, as usual, that, you know, I'm going to just record this and just drop it in the end, I think, each time. But if you do enjoy this podcast, if you want to get it early, if you want to get it with an extra 15 or 20 minutes of us chattering about things that aren't games, movies, music, all sorts, books maybe one day, we don't know. But you can go to patreon.com/GodIsAGeek, and that for $1 a month, basically become a premium member as such, and you get this early, you get it, you know, longer, you get more videos, you get earlier videos, you get everything kind of ahead of everyone else, because that's our thanks for supporting us and helping us grow and do more stuff. Like, you know, there's stuff coming up in the pipeline that, you know, it's kind of paying for that. I'm at JebusF on Twitter. Adam is at AdamZoax, ZOAX, that is. Chris is at FirstAvenger83, and Gary's at Blue Fury. Oh, Jesus Christ. It's been a long podcast, lads. At Blue Fury 47. Of course, at God is Geek is where you can make sure you never miss a story. We send out a tweet about questions and stuff, you know, if you want to send us questions. And, you know, you can also email, I should mention that, podcast@godisageek.com. You can email longer stuff or links, or have you seen this? What do you think of this? Tell us, whatever. That's all fine. You know, Google God is a Geek, then add, you know, Facebook or Twitter, anything on the end of that, your favourite social media, and you'll find us there. But also, don't always ask this, but if you go to podbean.com and you can follow us there, leave comments on the podcast, share the podcast, and it helps us if you subscribe via iTunes as well, and if you rate us and leave reviews. That stuff helps other people see us, and you can share this lovely podcast with everyone else. Guys, thank you ever so much for your time, as usual.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And otherwise, everyone else, we will see you or speak to you or talk at you in your ears whenever you choose to listen. Bye-bye for now.